right, welcome back to Kings News Daily. This is going to be a little video with a guest, Player X from HoldThePoint.com, who is going to have a little conversation here as we are watching the end of the pregame skate. Out on the ice is Brad Richardson, Davis Drisky, Jonathan Bernier, and Tyler Toffoli, who, against conventional sort of thought over the last 24 hours, doesn't look like he's going to be playing in the game tonight against the Flames. So, with that said, prior to the skate today, I got here early, as did X, and we were speculating on what we were going to see, and I was pretty adamant that, you know, there's no reason to bring Toffoli up unless he was going to play immediately. And Player X disagreed, and we're gonna see what he has to say about that. Right? There you go. Welcome. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Yeah, you know, I mean, I kind of wondered if Richards was going to come out, but I didn't expect that he was going to be hurt because he took the third period, all his shifts. He didn't miss a shift. Usually, they're not going to let him out of the quiet room if there's any doubt. They're not going to let him play for sure. So I just didn't see the Richards situation or non-situation being related to the Toffoli call-up. Yeah, so then I thought, okay, if it's only a Toffoli call-up, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about a team that has an open roster spot, that only has one guy as a forward on the injured or on the healthy scratch, and you've got Toffoli who's leading them down there in Manchester, and you know he's pretty much earned the next call-up when that call-up comes. And so why would you call him up now? Well, because you have an open roster spot, you only have Brad Richardson backing you up, and you're looking at Mike Richards down on the ice, although not hurt, maybe hurt. And you think to yourself, maybe, geez, I better cover this. That's now. And
so right now we're getting into the mind of Dean Lombardi, and it's always fun to try to do that. And that's the sort of running, you and I, after talking about it, it's sort of the running theory that, you know, he saw Richards go down and he thought, okay, now's the time. Gonna bring him up, gonna get him going, gonna get him involved in case that he's needed down the road, in case somebody like Richards, you know, possibly he's thought, well, maybe tomorrow he'll feel different. Maybe it won't be right.
Right.
I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna get him up here now, and we're gonna do this. So.
And if it turns out that Richards is healthy, it's still not a wrong thing, because if you're Dean Lombardi, you're looking down, hopefully, a playoff road and thinking to yourself, geez, I've got injury-inducing shortened season. I've got playoffs where guys go down. We were very fortunate last year to have only a few short-term injuries. And do I want my next call-up, who would be Tyler Toffoli, to have his first NHL game be a playoff game? And I think the answer there is no. So now you've got time.
That totally makes sense. I mean, there's no question to the idea of bringing him up, you know, if somebody gets hurt right before the playoffs and throwing him into that fire.
I mean, here he's not used to NHL intensity, and everybody says, well, the playoffs are NHL +1, so now you're like, okay, new meat.
Yeah.
He'll be eaten by the lions. So.
Yeah. You know, it's funny though that you say that, and I'll point this out right now. Off in the distance, you can't really make him out very well, but there is a player, a former Kings player, Daryl Evans, looking on. And he is one of the few guys that did that very thing in Kings history, kind of like a Nolan and a King last year, where Nolan didn't have any experience, but neither did Daryl Evans when he came up and played that
against the
playoffs, and did the Miracle on Manchester goal. That was
won
him,
the game.
That was him coming up and playing in the NHL for the first time. So that being said, sure, it's not the best situation, but it certainly isn't unprecedented. Yeah.
Not unprecedented, but the reason it's news is because it's unusual. So I'll grant you that. Yeah. So I don't think Lombardi is looking at it like, well, there's just. It would be terrible, awful, I can't possibly let this happen, I better get him up here now. I'm thinking he's looking at it like, this is the time of the season, team's playing good, and we can work the guy in slow. Give him a practice, give him a game, you know, sit him out, let him see some stuff, get him some talking to with the coaches. Just break him in slow, let him know ahead of time so he does a full game prep, not show up on a plane, play the next day. But this way now gonna, like Paul, you used the word acclimated. I think that's the exact word. Yeah, just let him get him set to the vibe of the team and feel comfortable just not being in Manchester, being with the Kings, and then put him in a game, and put him in a game in a limited role.
So,
see how he does.
So then we'll just wrap this up. It's up on 5 minutes here, so let's come to the conclusion. And the question is then, if he does play in games, how many games does he play, and does he go back down relatively soon or stay? What do you think? If you had to guess,
I'd say probably 3 to 5 games. You wouldn't want to burn out his whole 9. Probably, 3 to 5 games, unless it's just awful, unless it just doesn't work for him.
I think that's a good as guess as any. So I think he will get a couple games in, and we'll head back down to Manchester, and maybe we'll see him later, or maybe we won't. Hey, cool. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for letting me. I appreciate it. I enjoy this.
And what's your website again?
Thanks, Paul. I'm from holdthepoint.com. Hold the point.
Alrighty, great stuff over there. The Player X-Ray. His very unique little look on games, and how you can just look at it in one quick glance to see what all the different stats are. It's actually really neat. So cool, man.
Check it out. Thanks a bunch.
See you next time.
Okay, Paul.